gentlemen, the Uncutt Podcast.
Oh,
God damn it, he's back.
I hate you. This is why you're going to have to learn to behave yourself when we make the announcement at the end of the show, Matt. Jesus. Anyway, Robbie.
Yo.
Hold on. We got to wait. We got to wait for him to do the second part.
What are you talking about?
Or just leave him on the whole fucking show. I don't care.
Hold on.
There it is. Oh, my God. I hate you so much.
Dude, it's been a while since we've all been together.
This is the first time in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Since we've all done one of these together.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like the whole family's back together. Me
and
my twin cousin, crazy Uncle Robbie.
Me and Matt bonded, dude. We bonded with Sam Houston.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Sam was a great guest.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And, you know, every time Rain Man decides to show up, I don't even have to do anything at that point.
That's all that matters. Oh, God. Oh,
what happened?
Okay, we're just going to keep talking.
Okay, technicals. Okay. That's fine. We could totally rock this for a minute. Gentlemen,
dude,
how are we?
Are you guys
we're good.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. Fuck you, Robbie.
No one cares how you are, Robbie.
Fuck you, Robbie.
Too. It's very important.
Bye, Rain Man.
I was going to put my glasses back on.
Nope. Fuck you, David Caruso.
Wow, David Caruso.
That's a good reference. I like that.
Pulled that one straight out of your ass.
Horatio.
Horatio Kane, motherfucker.
Yeah. So yeah, tonight is episode 2 of our monthly Promotions You Should Know segment. And tonight, got an old friend of mine on as the guest, former member of the Whiteout, for anyone in the know. And the promoter, booker, the head man in charge of Resolute Wrestling, the king of Lung Blower Island, Caleb Courageous. What's up, brother?
Hello.
Welcome, man.
Shout out to our boy TJ Vegas from the Indy movement for yet another killer video.
Great video.
The music was kind of sick too. Have you heard that before?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like the lung blower homage, King of Lung Blower Island. That was primo, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It took everything in my power not to download that video and find a way to sneak it in.
Oh my god. I would have popped.
Oh, damn it.
That was
not the know. This guy busted out like 33 variations of a lung blower in one match. And it was the greatest match I've ever seen in my life.
It was very gimmicky in a backyard. It was pretty fun.
Hey man, but that brings me to my first question, man. What was the moment you knew you wanted to be a professional wrestler?
I would say, I mean, I got into wrestling. I want to say it was the fucking PlayStation game in your house. Was that a game
the
for PlayStation?
Game?
Yes, the very comical animated one where you're like throwing shit like fireballs and shit as the Undertaker or whatever. That's how I got into wrestling. Is I played that game and I liked Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker and Dog the Clown and stuff like that. I got into it pretty late. I think I was 8 years old when I got into wrestling, and I was just playing that game, and I just flipped through the channels one day, and I seen Shawn Michaels on the TV, and I was like, "Oh shit, he was in that game that I played." And, so, I was a Shawn Michaels fan, and Undertaker and Kane were doing their thing when I first got into it. So I like the Undertaker, obviously, and I hated Stone Cold Steve Austin because he was feuding with Shawn Michaels, and I thought I didn't understand heels or faces or anything like that. I just knew that I played a video game with these guys in it, and I liked them and playing as them. So and then I started learning more about it shortly after that, and I flip-flopped it. Shawn Michaels left after WrestleMania, and he lost to Stone Cold. And I loved Stone Cold and disliked Shawn Michaels. Again, I didn't understand much about the business at the time. I was very uneducated. And I want to say a couple years later, I got introduced to Jeff Hardy. And
it was all downhill from there.
It was all downhill from there. Yep. I seen Jeff Hardy do a standing moonsault in a tag team match, and I thought it was the coolest shit I had ever seen in my life. And I was like, all right, cool. I think I can do a backflip, so I think I can be a wrestler. So that was my mentality. And after that, I mean, I begged my parents for a trampoline, which they were completely against. My mom got me a subscription to WWE Magazine and then quickly tried to take it away from me when I was wrestling all my friends on my trampoline in the backyard and throwing them off the motherfucker and hurting them all. And she was getting phone calls about how I was hurting their kids and stuff like that. And anytime I'd see like a giant stuffed animal or something, I would be like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and grab this motherfucker so I can wrestle this because my friends are pussies and don't want to wrestle on the trampoline with me. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say about nine, I said, yeah, I think I'm going to be a wrestler.
Nice.
Right. Well, how did you make that transition from a fan to an actual wrestler? You want to tell us about that journey?
I'll be honest. I mean, I backyard wrestled, dude. Like I took it very serious. I would work with my dad. He owns a lawn maintenance. I mean, that's still my profession is lawn maintenance, but I would work with him in the summers, and I would save my money. And I wanted about the age of 14, I got enough money saved to add poles, like 6 or 8 poles around the trampoline. My dad's mechanic built it. It was this crazy trampo ring contraption, and he put like trampoline springs and like cables with water hoses over them, and he made my trampoline into a kind of wrestling ring.
That's cool.
And then we started putting things like plywood and box springs and carpet padding under the trampoline so it wouldn't bounce as much. And it was called a trampo ring. That's what we called it. And that's what we wrestled on. And I would get all my friends to come over and we would run backyard wrestling shows. I've got like tons of DVDs. I actually just showed my wife one not too long ago, and she thought it was the most obnoxious shit ever. Because
so that means it's fucking great.
Oh,
it's gotta be the best.
It's It's really bad. It's really. I mean, before any kind of pro training, we thought we were the shit, and it was really bad. I mean, just seeing douchey me with a Jeff Hardy undercut and a fucking a wife beater and some black jeans, like trying to be the man himself, So it's but that's when like I'll say about 14, 15 is when I really like transitioned into the backyard thing. And then at 15, I started going to an actual school in Orlando, Florida called FXE. I was there for a couple months. I guess I got through the beginner's class. I'm not sure. The guy who owned it was like a raging cokehead. And
Nice.
yeah, I believe he went by he went by the name of AJ Gallant, and to this day I don't know what happened to him or if he even exists. I lost. Well, I had to move out of Florida when I was 16, so I went for a couple months. Like I said, I want to say I got through beginner's class, but I'm really not sure because there were some days where he'd show up and he was cool and teaching us shit. And there's other days where he was just so fucking whacked out of his mind that nobody could understand what was going on. And we were all getting like blown up like crazy, like run the ropes till you puke and bump until you can't fucking take it anymore. And just an insane amount of fucking just bullshit. I ended up finding out that, he was not a great guy later on, but I mean, me being naive and young and just wanting to learn the business, I just, overlooked all the red flags. And now, hindsight being 2020, like that dude was definitely like just taking my money and trying to make me quit, which I never did quit. I just, I don't know. I think I learned more when I moved out of Florida than I actually learned going to a school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So dipping back a little bit into your backyard wrestling conversation that you have there, when people normally think of backyard wrestling, they think of crazy ass spots or jackass style wrestling. What was one of those jackass style moments where you're just like, Jesus, we shouldn't have done that?
Well, you guys are familiar with GCW, I assume.
I was just there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there in July.
I mean, you guys know who Alex Zane is, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, do you guys know who Ty Hill is? He's
The
worked for
Chad?
GCW. The Chad, yes.
He's always gonna be the Chad to me, man.
The Chad. Well, so me and my group of friends, I had this buddy named Shane of mine, who he was my ride everywhere. I didn't have a license in Florida when I lived there, but he took me to like all my training classes and all that. But he linked up with the Chad, and the first time I met the Chad was also the first time I met Alex Zane. And they were like, "Oh, just come down to Clearwater, Florida. We have what they called a base, which is what Nick actually saw me have that lung blower battle on, which was just like a square, no ropes, no nothing." And he said, "We're gonna have this tournament. We're gonna just do this really fun show." So we show up. I think there was 4 of us in the car, and we show up, and the only 2 there are Alex Zane and the Chad. And we're like, "So, where's everybody else?" Thought we were having this big backyard tournament, and we were gonna have all this fun. And the Chad was just like, "Well, this is it, and we're gonna do this." So we're doing it. We're taping the matches. We're planning out matches, planning out this tournament. People are wearing masks and doing like mask gimmicks and stuff to, spot fillers, I guess you could say, for this music video. I'm sure you can actually find the music video online somewhere, or I could. But there was a spot where I climbed up to the top of a ladder, and I had my friend laid out on 2 chairs and a piece of plywood. and I decided that I was going to do a swanton off the top of the ladder with nobody holding the ladder. I kicked the ladder out from under me, and I dove headfirst off of about a 15-foot ladder straight into the fucking ground, just the hard Florida ground. And I feel like I probably knocked myself out. I don't really remember much that happened afterwards. I know I got up and finished the match afterwards, but I couldn't tell you what I finished the match with. And I thought that was pretty hardcore. But then the Chad and Alex Zane wrestled what could only be described as the first death match I'd ever seen, using barbed wire and fucking light tubes and all that crazy shit. And Alex got the biggest fucking cut / gash, whatever you want to call it, on his back. And he also took a DDT onto thumbtacks and literally had thumbtacks embedded into his head. And we're all just, me and my friends from my group are just sitting here watching this, like, what the fuck is wrong with these people, like, that we've never met, having this crazy ass match literally in front of 4 people. So that would probably be like the crazy backyard experience, the craziest backyard experience I had. I mean, obviously, I've seen much worse now that I've been a part of the indie scene and stuff.
So, what was the transition from living in Florida and doing, backyard shows to moving up to Tennessee and doing
Well,
I mean, for better or worse, we know where we were back in the day, but professional indie shows.
Oh no! I got you there. Well, I did. He liked to call it the guy that was training at that school. I did one of his ring was in a storage unit, but it was like a huge storage unit. It had like AC and shit. So I actually did like one indie show in Florida, and there was maybe like 20 people there, and that was my only like match in Florida from that school. And I had to, and it wasn't nothing. It wasn't anything. I just got squashed out. Did Nick disappear? Oh, there he is.
Sorry,
the treatment.
His wife needed artificial resuscitation, or however that goes.
He was getting a little treatment, if you get what I'm saying.
Sometimes it's a party over here at the White House.
But are you guys familiar with Burt Prentice? I know Nick is.
Yeah.
He refused to book me.
Oh, me too.
Yep. That's how I know about him, is because of him talking about him.
So when I moved to Tennessee, I went to one of Burt Prentice's events in the town that I actually run my show in now, at the Armory. And I explained to him that, hey, I have pro training. I would like to try out or whatever. Like, how can I be a part of, what you're doing here? Because I want to be a part of wrestling. The first thing he did is he looked at me and he said, well, you're not very big. And I was like, okay, well, you got me there. I'm fucking 16, 17 years old. And then he sent me over his main boy at the time, I guess. His name is Matt Boyce. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Boy.
Oh, is that still his main boy?
Boyce is still on every show.
Gotcha. So Matt Boyce came over to me and I said, hey man, do you want me to like get in here and like run the ropes? You want me to lock up? You want me to bump? Like, you want me to like show you that I'm not fucking full of shit? Like, I know, what I'm doing. And he's like, no, man, you don't got to do that. I just need to know, you got any like trunks or boots? You got any boots? And I hate boots. I think I've tried to wear boots for like maybe a month of my entire wrestling career. I can't stand them. I wear shoes and kickers, just like most guys do. And I explained to him that I'm a shoes and kickers guy and that I had never worn boots before. And he he scoffed at me that it was just super offensive that I have I've never worn boots in a professional wrestling match, which I mean, at that time, I'd only had actually one pro match, I guess you could say. But yeah, he scoffed at me that I didn't have any boots or that I wasn't a trunks guy. I used to wear. I mean, I was very small back then. I was like $150 soaking wet, and yeah, they scoffed at me and pretty much laughed me out of the building. So I at that point I decided that maybe wrestling wasn't for me, or maybe I should, try to gain some weight, which was almost impossible at that time for me, or something. And then I didn't even get into the business until 2000. I want to say 2009 is when I had my first Tennessee match, and it was for IWF TN in Cookeville, Tennessee. Yeah, it was pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
You want to know who? You want to know who it was against?
Oh God.
You probably know him.
What, DeVito?
No. Do you remember Bobby Dark?
He had a really nice hat. I remember that about Bobby Dark.
Bobby Dark.
Bobby Dark.
Isn't that the
a
one?
Whole episode of Bobby Dark stories.
Oh my God. Were you there? No, were you there that night that he went to Biff's show in Smithville? I want to say it had Coco Beware. He worked Jeremiah Plunkett on it, and fucking Bobby Dark shows up, gets stretched all the fuck by Mike Promo, and then the fucking cops show up and arrest him for stealing his grandma's car.
Yep. He had borrowed grandma's car to drive to the show. Didn't tell her. She borrowed because her car had been stolen. They show up at the building. He just got done getting his ass whipped.
Beat all the fuck.
And then he walked into the locker room, and Coco Beware is watching him get arrested.
Yep.
Glorious.
That was fucking real. But yeah,
was Frankie there?
No, Frankie was already dead, I think, at this point.
Frankie too.
Shout out to Frankie 4.
Yeah. That was a weird show too, because didn't the promoter like back out and not even show up to the show, and then they were like, "Oh, we can't pay you, Coco," and Coco's like, "Fuck it, all these people are here. I'm just gonna go sell all this merch," and he still walked away with a fucking shit ton of money.
Oh, he made bank.
He made bank that night.
Coco Beware in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. Hell yeah, he's gonna sell everything he brought.
Yeah,
it's the biggest store that town ever saw.
There was I just remember the line being outrageous, just to shake his hand and get a picture with him, and I was like, holy fuck, dude. I mean, I knew who he was, but I'm not I was never really familiar with. What is that? 80s? Was he in the 80s?
Yeah.
80s into the 90s.
Yeah. Bored yet.
He was he was one of those guys too. He wasn't he was kind of a mid-card, low-card guy in WWF. He wasn't a jobber, but he did a lot more in the independent scenes, after the WWF and before. He was a pretty well-known name in the South, wasn't he, Nick?
Yeah, he was a big deal in Memphis. Him and Bobby Eaton were huge tag team.
Yeah. Well, Bobby Eaton, I mean, you say that name, and then that's that would be more familiar to me than at the time. Now of course I know who all these people are, but back then, somebody was like, "Oh yeah," or Biff, Uncle Biff was like, "Yeah, I got this show booked, and Coco Beware is gonna be on it," and I was like, "Fucking who? Who fucking Coco Beware?" Man?
Obviously, you've never heard the album Pile Driver.
Funny story. I was actually in Ohio about a month ago to see some family out there. And I went to a record store and they had that motherfucking album brand new, Pile Driver.
That's some good shit on there. I'm not even lying.
Man, if I wanted to shell out the $50, I would have fucking bought it. But I don't think I would have. Yeah, it was really I was like, why is this so ridiculously fucking priced?
Well, obviously, it's probably discounted price, and then you can send it to Hulk Hogan's Beat Shop, and for $1,500 more, you can get it signed.
It must have some bangers on it, man. I've never actually heard it.
Hey, Matt, did you want the next question?
No, go ahead.
Well, I was kind of an out there kind of a question, dude. If you could have a wrestling dream match with any wrestler from any era, who would it be? Why? And if you thought about it in your brain, maybe walk us through that match.
And why is it Coco Beware?
And why is
Yeah.
it Coco Beware?
Coco Beware, working the chain the whole match, taking the punch for the finish. No.
Why is it you and Dr. Love?
Oh my God, dude, Dr. Love. Is he still around? I want to say he showed
I
up to
think
a
I saw him
couple of.
reffing a show like a couple weeks ago.
Really? Is that a shoot?
I don't know. I remember things funny. That could have been 6 months ago, and I would have
Okay.
think it was last week.
Dr.
But no,
fucking
I feel
Love.
like I saw it pretty recently, like SWF or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you could be right. Biff goes down there a lot. They're still homies. Yeah. Anyways, back to his question. I totally deflected that. I mean, obviously, like the inner child in me would be like, "Oh, fucking Jeff Hardy! Like, I have to wrestle Jeff Hardy," you know. But I mean, I think like from like who I could have a killer match with, who I can learn from, who who would be like my GOAT. You ask me who the greatest of all time is. It's Chris Jericho. I love Chris Jericho. He's just everything about him. I've loved him from the first time I seen him.
Me too. Yeah.
I still think, I mean, what is he, like 52, 51 years old now? And still fucking killing it. Like, I mean, time waits for no man, but I feel like Chris Jericho, he's kind of beating Father Time's ass right now because he's just still so entertaining. And you still get like, I mean, what was that match he just had? That match with fucking Eddie Kingston that they just had. I don't know if you guys seen that. That was a fucking banger, dude. Got dropped on his dome like 15 fucking seconds into the match and still like killed it. Like that.
Dude, even him and Santana last night was
good. I heard it was really good, and I didn't watch it. I'll probably go back and watch it now that you said that. But I do make it a point to watch, like, I mean, certain guys still. I mean, wrestling in general is like, there's just so much of it. It's just hard to like
watch it all.
It's hard to keep up with. Like, you just hear like matches being good and shit. And I mean, like, I watch Jeff Hardy obviously because I'm just a mark, but yeah, like I said, that match with Eddie Kingston that Chris Jericho had, and like there was a time a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys feel this way about like wrestling, but like I have like a love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes I'm all about it. I'm all in. And then there's some times where I'm just like, I'm fucking over it. And I don't want to watch it. I don't want to hear about it. I mean, I run a show every other week and sometimes I don't even want to fucking, I literally live right next door to my building. And sometimes I'm just like, fuck, I got to walk downstairs and like run this show. Like, like I don't even want to fucking do this. But there was one point, I want to say it was when Jericho was still in the Fed and he was feuding with the shit with Kevin Owens. I thought was just like genius, like all of it. Like I loved every bit of it. What was it, the Festival of Friendship or was that what it was called? Yeah, I loved all of that. And they had that match at Mania, which some people shit on it. I thought it was not bad. I mean, for where it was on the card, I didn't think it was terrible. But it was the rematch that they had at it was that pay-per-view. They had a rematch, and it was Jericho and Owens for the United States title, and Jericho won it back. I don't know if you guys remember that match.
It was like payback or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. When I watched that match, like it was the first time in a long time that I felt myself like get excited, because it was an unpredictable finish. Like everybody was going to be like, "Oh, KO's going to win." Jericho won the belt back. No, I don't think anybody's seen that fucking coming. And it was just like, I was like, man, if there's anybody who like could make me feel like a kid again and get excited for wrestling, it's fucking Chris Jericho. Like, and I mean, then he went to AEW. I loved all the early stuff with Kenny Omega, and I loved all that. And then I loved the, of course, the coming out to your own theme music shit is super fucking cool to me.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was on the Jericho cruise is when I first really seen like the crowd like singing the song when he comes out, the Judas song, and so Jericho. I know I'm just like rambling, but Jericho.
No, man, that's fine. It's cool, man. Get excited about it. No, but I mean, you gotta throw it out there, dude. Everybody like saying, the new Roman Reigns, the undisputed champion, dude. But Jericho did it first.
Absolutely, Jericho did it first. Yeah, like I said when Jericho debuted with the Rock and just that promo,
Yeah,
and like it's just classic. Like,
when he told him he basically, I don't remember the exact what he said, but he basically told him to quit being a punk jobber, and if he wanted the main event, he had to start acting like it, like a main eventer. Yeah, and that was when Jericho totally flipped, like and started becoming a superstar.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean.
Triple H was out. Triple H was out with his injury, so there was that spot for him at the top, it was the perfect opportunity.
But yeah, I'm definitely about Christopher. Where'd your other brother go?
He's got some stuff going on at the house. He may or may not be back. We'll see.
Gotcha.
Matt dipped in.
It's how this show goes. We all
he's
just
like
have to.
He's like the Sting of the podcast, dude. He just comes, drops in, and drops out. And
I just want to see him come back.
We were the most professional podcast.
Uncut.
I just want to see. I just want to see him come back in just a giant fucking bong rip and just be like, "I'm back, motherfucker."
He comes back on the camera, just opens up, and it's just whoosh, cloud of smoke.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Best fucking entrance. Just
that would be. Oh, now I gotta leave the green screen up or green room open just in case he does come back. Anyway, he's been challenged now, even though he doesn't know it. Anyway, so now you're running Resolute Wrestling out of Crossville, Tennessee. So if you were to give a synopsis of your company to someone who's never seen it before, how would you explain Resolute Wrestling to someone completely uninitiated?
I mean, okay, so are we talking like a casual fan? Are we talking to
they're a wrestling fan, but they've never seen your show before.
Gotcha. All right. I would consider it maybe because we're definitely not like a super indie. We have those style matches from time to time, but we're not really a super style indie. I mean, fucking Carrie Awful uses a term, and I cannot think of it for the fucking life of me right now. I don't want to say Southern strong style because that's fucking super cliche.
You can if you want to.
I mean, I don't know.
He doesn't watch, so you're gonna be fine.
No, I just get. I honestly know he used I just seen him not too long ago, and he used this fucking term, and I can't remember it now, but it clicked in my head, and I was like, "Oh damn, that's it," Because I mean, he's all. I mean, he's all about fucking Southern wrestling, but he's also like, I mean, he was definitely in that super indie crowd too. So,
yeah, he's been on the show before, and it was definitely one of our crazier interviews.
Yeah.
That dude fucking he gets it on such a level that very few people have ever gotten it at. So.
I love fucking Carrie, bro. I love Carrie. He's such a great dude. He didn't like me for a long time, rightfully so. But I do love Carrie, and we're super cool now. And I had a banger ass match with him fucking at not the smallest cup we just had, but the year before that. And it was like I said, it was one of those, I think we had like 5 minutes to fucking call it. And we just went out there and I think we called a finish, man. And that was it. And it was a killer fucking match. And we came backstage and he gave me a big ass hug. He's like, "God damn it, Caleb, you're so fucking good. You should be fucking everywhere." Well, he just put me over huge and shit. And I was like, man, that was just as much you as me, bro. I was just listening and walking and talking, man. Like, tournament shows, you don't really got time to call shit or anything. Like, you just gotta just roll with the punches. And he told me he was gonna be late. I mean, he worked in Smalls Cup's always four ways as the first round. So he works this 4-way match, and then he comes backstage and he's like, "All right, brother, what are we doing?" And I was like, "Well, you're up, homie. So what do you want to use?" And he's like, well, I'm gonna use this as the finish. I was like, all right, cool. I'll see you out there. Yeah. So, but back to the question. Sorry, I keep rambling. Like I said, I mean, like, I guess let's say Southern Strong Style, I guess you could say. We got the, but we're very story based though. And that was one of the big things I wanted to do. I didn't want to run a show once every 3 months or once a month, where I couldn't really have like a solid storyline. I like the stories. Like, that was what attracted me to wrestling, was the storytelling aspect of it. So I wanted to at least like have a weekly or bi-weekly show to where I could have a core group of guys that I could write storylines to and book feuds and, like make people interested that way. I know like people like Brutal Bob Evans, he kind of preaches against that. And I understand why, because I mean, at the end of the day, we should be making money. Like, it's about making money. But like that was, if I wasn't going to do it the way I wanted to do it, then I'm not going to do it at all.
Yeah,
So
that's the whole point, right?
Yeah,
You're running your own shit. You run it your way.
Yeah, exactly. And I've ran it for fucking like 6 years now or something. So I mean, we're doing something right if we're still around.
Yeah,
So,
it's longer than most places last,
yeah.
especially around here.
Hey, and one thing I do take pride in is like, I tell everybody, like, you want to come work for Resolute, that's cool. If you're coming to work at Resolute to make money, you probably don't want to work for Resolute.
Keeping it real, yo.
I'm incredibly honest with everyone out of the gate, and I think anybody would tell you that. Have we brought in like the more popular indie guys and shit like that? Yeah. I mean, I have, and I came out of pocket for it, and I've lost my ass sometimes. But that's what I picked up sponsors for, because they were willing to help with those ventures.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, I've came out way more in the plus than I ever have in the negative. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that I've banked and fucking just made all this money, because I would be lying to you. But I'm smart with my roster. I know what my limit is per show. I know what my average crowd is. Some weeks it's way better, especially when I book people like fucking Alex Zane, because everybody loves that motherfucker in this town. And sometimes it's not great. Sometimes you run into goddamn. Okay, so when the pandemic hit and everything shut down for a long time, and then we got to go to get I think it was like a 50-person capacity, I think it was, where Tennessee like raised the restrictions to like 50 people could be in a building with like 6 feet of distance or something like that. I don't remember. It was all so jumbled together. But I was the pandemic hit. We shut down for like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months, something like that. And then I was only allowed to sell like a limited amount of tickets to run shows. So we're doing the limited crowd thing, and all the tickets were pre-sale and all that. And they, we did okay then. But as soon as the COVID restrictions got lifted like completely, and there was no building cap or anything, because Nick's in my building. It's a small fucking building. Like, I was doing great, because there was no football, there was no like local sports teams, there was no karate classes weren't open, fucking tattoo shops still weren't open. There was like nothing to do in this small little town, and then I was killing it. Like, I was having, and then guys were just like trying to, you're up and running, okay, cool, can I come in? Okay, brother, well, I can't pay you your rate. Oh, it's cool, man. I'll totally, I just need a show. Okay, cool. Show up and let's see what we can do, man. So the pandemic sucked, obviously, but when shit got lifted and everybody was still kind of hesitant on like going out, like this town, for some reason, everybody was just like, fuck that shit. Like we're coming to wrestling, goddammit. And so I don't know how I got on this topic, guys. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's fine. It feels like interviewing Carrie again. It's cool.
Yeah, it's great, dude. It makes our job easy.
Like Carrie awful Paul London level of
no, nothing's on.
I don't give a shit. Keep talking.
Nothing's on Paul London's level, but I did want to ask you. I think it would be horrible if we didn't bring this up. How did you make the transition from a wrestler to a promoter, and how did Resolve come to be?
Well, I was working the Indies for a couple years, on and off. See, I was in a touring band for a while, and when I first met Nick, I wrestled for a company that he was a part of, and my band actually started taking off and getting a little more popular. We started being a little more regional and shit, and traveling all around to play shows. So wrestling kind of took a back seat for a while. And when I came back, on my off shows, everything had fucking changed. The company, I don't know what happened. I don't want to say they went under, but they were no longer in the building that they were in.
They had some setbacks.
Yeah, things got rough. We lost that building, and it was
we lost that building, but the McDaniels took it over, right?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
They had it for a few months, and then they moved to Morrison.
Yes, that's what happened. Okay, yeah, I don't remember everything, but I had kind of taken a step back from wrestling. I had hurt my neck. I don't remember what happened. I had I had to go to a chiropractor, and I had to get like an X-ray, and they told me that there was a vertebrae pressing into my your brainstem or whatever that is in the back of your neck. I had a vertebrae pressing into something that was giving me like terrible fucking headaches. So I had to take a back seat, and I said, well, fuck it, I'll just do music thing for a while. Came back to wrestling a couple 6 to 8 months later or something, and everything fucking changed, and it wasn't even the same promotion. I got into it with a promoter. All kinds of bullshit went down.
That happened.
So, yeah. And then I went back to the other promotion where they were running somewhere else, and I think I finished them. I think I finished FTW out, didn't I? The last
Yeah, I think you were booked on the last show because you were. Fuck it, it's been 10 years. I can tell the story. You were booked to win Fighting Spirit, you were going to win the last Fighting Spirit.
Yes,
because it was supposed to be you and Christian Haim in the finals.
Yes, Christian Haim. Yes,
he was the champ, and then I was pushing hard to put the belt on you because I had wanted to put the WTF title on you, and I got talked out of it.
I remember that.
It had come back around, and you were just the most over baby face we had. It was like, we're gonna do the fucking Fighting Spirit tournament. This is the moment to crown Caleb as the fucking guy, and then that tournament got canceled, and we never ran another show.
Yes,
because that was the one where we had Matt Cage booked for that show. Matt Cage's tag team partner, whose name has slipped out of my fucking head. Tank, Christian Haim. We had 3 dudes coming down from Ohio. We had booked a ton of people for this show.
Yep.
Worked out guarantees and everything. And then literally the building called Mike the Thursday before and was like, hey, sorry, we're not going to let you do this now. We've seen some of your videos. We think you're too violent.
Oh, I didn't even know what happened there. I just remember it got canceled. And that was...
Somebody had sent the video of Mike versus Johnny in that the death match they had.
Is that the cinder block on the dick with the
the
hammer
cinder
spot.
block, the literal wall of thumbtacks, where we
Yeah.
had taken the tarp and pushed like 1,000 thumbtacks into it.
You're talking about Vortex or Biff, right?
Biff, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember what you're talking
And
about. Yeah.
and Mike had got really good color. Johnny, he's always going to be Johnny to me. I'm sorry.
John
I
Wayne.
call him Biff to his face, but when I tell stories, especially from this era, he was Johnny, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'll see him
Biff
tomorrow.
gets his color and fucking, and that video got sent to the people that own the building, and they're like, oh, well, if this is what you do, this is what we don't want. And we're like, no, this is like the technical wrestling tournament. This is the one we can sell DVDs of.
Yeah.
Because the Fighting Spirit the year before, we had booked Supremely Great, and that was the year that like Flint had won it and gave the briefcase to Shane.
Yes. Yep. I
The,
remember
the most babyface moment in the history of the company.
Yep. I remember that too.
Was
That's
definitely a really heel heavy company. We were big on our heels.
that tournament was actually before that tournament was actually when I had the neck injury and I couldn't be a part of it. And I remember I had to just quit wrestling in general for a little bit. But yeah, and I came back. Anyways, back to the question, how did I go into promoting?
People are going to listen to this episode and be like, this is all insider baseball, isn't it?
Yeah. So the place I was working for that he was talking about in Morrison, I was the stories will get twisted. You know, the way I had seen it was that I was in line for a booking position to book the shows. I heard this from the owner's mouth that he would like me to book his shows, and I was actually helping book shows at the time. Mm-hmm. I was their top babyface. They put the belt on me. Blah blah blah. It turned into, and I'm not like I don't want to come off as shit talking because I was very young and assholish myself. So,
it's good, yeah.
But it definitely turned into a pissing contest between myself and the promoter's son, who didn't want me to have any part in the booking. And the promoter, I feel like he was just in my ear and then going back to his son, and it was in his son's ear. And I think he was just trying to hype up, something. So, I mean, one night it got so bad between us, the tensions were so high. I was told to go write the matches on the board, which I did. And then my friend, who was my writing buddy at the time, Draven Lee, he had face paint. And the promoter's son wrote, "Caleb's not the booker," in paint on the wall above the board. But literally, his dad told me to go write the card on the board after going over the card with me and being like, okay, this looks good. This is what we're going to do tonight. And it was a card that I put together.
Right.
So, again, like, I wasn't trying to take anybody's spot, but I definitely was under the impression that I was going to have a say in the booking, because I had a say in my booking, which is all fine and dandy. But I mean, like, I've always been about the show. Like, I'm not just about myself. Like, I have a lot of knowledge I can contribute to an entire show. So if we can do it this way and it makes more sense, like, why the fuck wouldn't we do it?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, it turned into like a pissing contest. It got so bad one day that him and I got into a skirmish right in front of the crowd. It wasn't a fight by any means. It was he threw a chair, I threw a chair, and then we came at each other, and security and wrestlers had to like split us up, and it was not worked. It was total shoot. And the funny thing about it is the guy who makes my gear, he actually makes a lot of people's gear. His name's Tyler Thorne. He's a really good dude. Makes a lot of Impact guys gear and shit like that. Tyler Thorne, about 2 years ago, was telling me about how the story got brought up, and the kid was saying that he chased me down the road and blah blah blah, and I was like, man, that's not how that fucking happened at all. Like, I was right in all these motherfuckers' faces. Like, look, I am not fucking Billy Badass. I am not like I have had my ass beat before, and I'm sure it may happen again. I'm getting a little older now. I'd like to avoid it, but I am not afraid of shit, and I will not back down from anybody. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care if you're gonna whip my fucking ass. You ain't gonna beat my ass no worse than my fucking daddy did. So,
Amen, dude.
I ain't scared of no fucking ass whooping. So that's definitely not how that happened.
Yeah, I can definitely say, having seen you in a locker room with somebody chewing your ass, you just be like,
bro. I mean, that night at TAP, I mean, we still joke about it to this day. But that night at TAP, when they fucking Apache'd me and Draven's match because I didn't want to work. I showed up to TAP the first, like, when they were at the FTW building. I showed up there, and they wanted me to work some fucking guy named Jamie Ferrari, who everybody was like, he's fucking unsafe backyard wrestler. Like, you're gonna get hurt if you wrestle him. Like, I mean, I had like literally like 5 guys in the locker room like whispering that into my ear, and I'm like, yo, bro, my band's about to go on tour. Like, the last thing I need to do is get my fucking neck broken. Like, I'm just here because I want to wrestle. I was like, can I just wrestle the guy I came with? So I politicked a little bit to wrestle the guy that I came with. I think we went like fucking 8 minutes or something. They were like, go 10. We went like 8. And then they just send Dyron Flynn, Norte, fucking Rage, or what's his name, DeVito. They send them all out to the fucking ring on me. And
what a crew to be your hired guns.
So they sent them all to the ring, and I still have the video, man. I'll have to send it to you one day, Nick. But
definitely. I need to see this.
You just see me fucking no-sell the stomps, roll out ring and storm to the back, and then you can just hear me screaming in the fucking back, like, you motherfuckers, like, why the fuck did you do that? And then me and Biff got into it outside, and I think if it wasn't for the girl that I was with at the time, I probably would have got my ass fucking smashed by Biff, because, I mean, he's a big motherfucker, and I was not. But, I mean, we were in a shoving contest at our car, and she got in between us and was like, don't fucking do it. And I think the last thing I said before I left was, I'll go work for Mike Promo for free for a cold hot dog and a hot water before I ever deal with this shit again. And that's when the owner that's when the owner fucking like, you go fucking work for him then, you motherfucker, fuck you, Caleb. And I was very bitter on wrestling for a long time after that, to say the least. But back to the question that I keep straying away from. Yeah, the whole thing with TAP happened, and whatever, no hard feelings now. We're all cool. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I've worked with the son, Gregory. I've worked with him. We're cool. Like, I have no qualms with anybody. I'm too fucking old now to be having heat or problems. I got my own issues, man. Wrestling drama is fucking stupid, if you ask me. And I refuse to deal with it. When you know somebody like Draven Lee, God bless his heart, you hear about all the drama, or he just wants to bring the drama your way. And
but yes.
I love him too. I love him to fucking death. Man, that's the thing about Draven, dude. Like, I've never said anything about him that I wouldn't say right to his fucking face. I will tell that kid. I've told him. I mean, he don't like what I have to say sometimes, and that's cool. Like, Well, love you, Draven. Love you, Jim. You're the man, but fucking goddamn it, you are so.
I don't think you want people around you all the time that just tell you what you want to hear.
Oh no, hell no, no. I actually enjoy constructive criticism. That is what like
Makes you better.
I wrestled fucking Caleb Conley last year. He was under the suicide gimmick. He was doing the suicide, wearing the suicide getup, and like, I mean, he critiqued the fuck out of me after the match, and it was a pretty good match, but it could have been better in the areas I lacked. But I mean, I think that was one of the most like genuine critiques I've ever gotten, though. Like, because I am a promoter, and people are always like, "Oh yeah, that shit was so fucking dope. We had a bomb ass match, whatever." And then like, I mean, he don't fucking care. Like, he's gonna tell me how it is. So, and he did. And I mean, I think to this day, I still use like the advice that he gave me ever since then. Because I was like, this motherfucker wrestles on TV every week. Like, he knows what the fuck he's doing. He makes a living off of doing this. So I need to, and that's one of the things I loved about like people like fucking Tracy Smothers, dude. Like, Tracy Smothers was literally like, he was like a good-hearted, genuine dude, and I loved the hell out of him, just like hanging out with him. But like, if you fucked up and you weren't like doing it right, like he'd let you know, and that was so cool to me. And I think that's why like I was so drawn to him, was because I was just like, I would always ask him this any show I was on, was we watch my match, we tell me like where I lacked or what I could do better to have made that match better, and he always did. He sat there right by the curtain or right by the monitor, and he would. I mean, he usually watched the whole show, if we're being honest. But he would sit there, and he'd say, "Sit down, bro," and he would just have a heart-to-heart, genuine talk with you about, this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong, and this is how you can do it better next time. And like, I will always appreciate that from anybody.
So we're coming off, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Shane Small's Memorial Cup, but it always hurts to bring up Shane still to this day. I mean, I have nothing but positive memories about the kid. So that's pretty much your biggest show of the year. Am I correct?
One of, yeah.
Yeah.
So
how did that go for you? And then I know we crowned a new heavyweight champion that night. Friend of the show, friend of all of ours, Raven Frost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
the show itself was great. Dustin Johns actually took the cup this year, who is probably one of the most improved from anything. He was with Resolute from the start. I mean, I think that like the third show we ever had is when he started coming around, and he went from an announcer to I guess an on-air general manager to a referee, and then eventually to a wrestler. And from where he was at, when he first started, to where he's at now is so insane. Like, I mean, he's found his niche. He sticks to what he's good at. And not only is he like, a solid worker and a good hand, but he's just an asset to Resolute Wrestling as a whole. Like, he's just he helps me with training on Tuesday nights. He's just a team player. And I didn't think that there was anybody more deserving on the roster at this point. I think he busted his ass and he earned it. And and as for Joe or Draven Frost, the fucking man. Dude's the man.
Dude's phenomenal looking, man. The guy's got a look on him that just don't quit.
Oh yeah. When he introduced himself to me, we were doing the fairgrounds here was doing this thing called the Bigfoot Festival, which is fucking dope. just a whole festival about Bigfoot, just cryptids and just fucking ghost hunters and just all kinds of shit. And they asked us to set up and, run a fucking hour and a half show. So we did, and it was super dope. And he walked up to me after the show was over and told me he knew Nick and that, he lived in Florida and he was a pro wrestler. And I mean, I took one look at him and I was like, well, fuck, you look like a wrestler. So, and I told him, I said, just show up on Tuesday night. He showed up on Tuesday for training. Our ring was not put together because we had just taken it down from and never put it back up. And he helped put the ring up and he just sat and shot the shit with me for about an hour. And I mean, I liked him instantly. I was like, yeah, this dude's fucking cool. And he obviously knows like what he's fucking talking about. He's not some fucking mark that's just like, hey, I'm a pro wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah, funny thing, Nick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but funny thing, Nick, if I remember right, didn't we have the House of Wolves on the night that he did that first show over there? Or
we had him on. He had just moved to Crossville.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, do you know anywhere I can work? And I'm like, I got the guy.
Yeah.
I got just the fucking guy for you, buddy.
I knew that.
Yeah,
I knew I was somewhere in the beginning of that
story. It was right there. Like he had just moved there like a week before. Yeah, I think he had hit me up when he first moved, and I told him about Caleb, and then we talked again that night, and I was like, yeah, just fucking message him. He's chill as fuck. It's gonna be good times. And it seems to have worked out for everyone.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah. No, he came in and bro, I mean, got over fucking instantly. There was like no problem. It was just, and I mean, there was like literally, I paired him off with like Toby, and that was that was my go-to. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but he just got over it instantly, and there was just you can't deny, like there was just no denying him. Like he got to a point where I was like, "Fuck, dude! I mean, the only way to go with you is up. Like you're cashing in good match after good match, and the good thing about I call him Joe, Draven Frost, is that like I agent most of the matches. Now I have people like when Brett was around, Brett Eisen was agenting matches, and John Mosley was agenting matches and stuff. But for the most part, I agent the matches. I give out the finishes. I give a synapse of like what I'm looking for. Joe, when I'm like, hey, this is what I want. Like I can't think of one time that he didn't just nail it. Like he just went out there and fucking nailed it, and it was everything that I could have asked for it to be. And it's always fucking clean. There's nothing like he's just a good fucking worker, dude. And it was leaps and bounds like over like what I could have expected from it. And like I said, the only way to go with him was up. Like he looks like $1 million. Yeah, the people in Crossville fucking hate him. And he just beat our top babyface for the belt, clean and dominant. And now they're gonna hate him even fucking more. So I mean,
you can train a guy that looks like that and wrestles like that.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta get the rest of the Wolves up there and watch some fucking magic happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen any of them. He's told me about them, but I've never seen any of them.
Wow.
You and Zachy, or you and Johnny, but probably you and Zachy.
Yeah.
Is that Zach
Zachy Monstar?
So yeah, I was booked on a show in Florida that fell through, and I was supposed to work Zach Monstar at it.
Now he's a fucking giant. He's bigger than Joe.
Oh, I've seen. I was like, what do you want me to do with this guy? Kick him with a knee?
That's money. Robbie, you got anything else?
Man, I don't know. I think we covered a lot.
So Caleb, we're gonna. Much as I hate to do this because I love talking to my boys, we're gonna go ahead and close it out. Always end the show the same way. I'm gonna give you full screen, man. Pitch your socials, pitch your upcomings, whatever message you want to send to the people.
Yeah,
Have
man.
at it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So that thing didn't work out. You said you had something that you were
Oh, I
trying
was
to.
trying to get Joe, but you know,
Nah, that
he's out there
motherfucker.
being a dad.
Hopefully he don't flake on you like he flaked on the Uncut podcast tonight.
Yeah.
No,
No, I'll see.
The
I'll see him
biggest flake in
tomorrow.
the history of the podcast is Toby Farley, but that's fine.
Come on,
I'll tell you
man.
the story off air. Yeah.
I got you. Hey, I had a blast, guys. Thank you. At Toxic Crusader 1990 on Twitter. Don't really use it, but you can check it out. Resolute Wrestling on Facebook. Also at Resolute Wrestling on Twitter. Probably use that one a little more. Thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time. We got a show tomorrow night in Crossville, 467 Old Montana Road, May the 6th, Melee before Mother's Day. Resolute Wrestling, Crossville, Tennessee. Come check us out.
Taylor, man, it's been a blast. Hang on, I'm gonna tell you the Toby story in a minute.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks for coming on, dude, and good luck with your show tomorrow night, man. Come back and visit us again.
Hey, anytime. I had a blast.
I know.
Yo,
Love that guy. Love him so much.
dude, yeah, I don't know. You got a lot of cool friends,
I do. It's
Really
the blessing of the wrestling business.
but you know some
Next-
some pieces of shit too.
I know some real pieces of shit too, but
Rock on.
we'll talk about it another time. That's a story for another time. So,
What do we got going on next week?
dude, next week we've got former top contender to the NWA World Heavyweight title. Yeah. And one of the he does some work with a little TV show wrestling fans may have heard of called Heels on the Stars Network.
Yeah.
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 It'll be good times. Next week, our guest, Damian Wade, live on the Uncut Wrestling Podcast.
Tight, man. Awesome.
So for that guy, I got it right, everybody. For that guy, Robbie Cutthroat, I'm your boy, the Ace Nick White. Love Panda 24x48, somewhere floating around in here, or wherever he's at. I don't know. Doing Panda things.
Andy.
Robbie.
Yo.
Oh, God. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready. How many clicks is it?
1 and 2.
I hate you guys.